Hey friends, this is Hefe. You are officially live here with, myself and NoFuturistic on Blockparty. It is Friday night, and we're here to kick it off with y'all. So welcome, NoFuturistic. How's your week, man?
My week has been good. So far, so good. I've been shitcoin trading and just trying to stay out of trouble.
Oh, cool, man. I mean, any particular shitcoins on your radar right now? There's a lot of them out there.
Yeah. So the ones that I've been actively, like, I had a hot hand last week, so I bought into Pepe very early. I sold off as it went up towards the top, and then I bought some more as it dipped.
Nice.
So like, sold off almost the whole bag, and then started buying it around 0.802, something like that, and then bought it all the way down to point whatever number of zeros 1 to today, and then it's just started pumping again. So it's like, hell yeah. And then Turbo and another one called Kek, but it's Kek, Keke. Both of those have dropped like rocks since I've entered those positions. I've traded like Turbo. I made a lot of money off of last week, but I started averaging down. It's starting to pump again. So just been shitcoin trading. It's been good. It's been fun at least, you know?
Yeah, finally, in this bear market, when we're all numb and apathetic, we finally get to feel something.
You got to feel something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
How about you? What have you been doing?
I've been kind of stepping away. I've been chilling a little bit. I went and bought a new camera. So I'll grab this right now. I'll show you actually.
Is it a camera that you're using for your setup, or is it like a DSLR? Go full screen so we can see what you're showing us.
Right. It's not. Yeah, it's DSLR. It's here. Let's get this tripod. Yeah, it's right here. Let me go full screen.
Ooh, I like the color scheme that you have going.
Oh yeah, you haven't seen the studio, man. I've been doing little things. I've been upgrading things. Yeah, I just got a couple lights back there just to get a nice purple hue. I like what you had going on, but yeah, it's similar in a way, similar hue, and just a couple upgrades. This
It looks good.
It's the camera right here.
Oh, so you got a Sony A7 something, or like one of the Sony mirrorless cameras.
Yeah, it's a Sony mirrorless. It's a ZV-E10, so it's like on the lower end of their, it's like a content creator camera. Like it can do most things. I looked into it a little bit. This seems like what people are using. The other one I was looking at was the Canon, I think it was R10 or the M50 Mark II. Those are two other cameras that I was kind of all comparing side by side. And yeah, this one, I mean, they're all great cameras, honestly. I just looked in, just from my opinion, from the little bit that I know, they're all pretty great cameras. But what sold me on this one is you can connect a USB directly to this, and without any program or anything like at all, you just plug it in, USB, bang, you get you can live stream with it. You can just like straight up live stream with it. Like you don't gotta do anything. I was actually messing around with it on this restream just before we went on, and I had it plugged in, and Restream even picked it up. Like it was like, you know, having a webcam. So
the one thing I will warn you about, just because I'm a camera aficionado,
I know that.
It's a good camera, and you're gonna, because I've seen the Sony cameras. These mirrorless cameras are great for stuff that's long haul. Like the whole reason I bought the Blackmagic is because cameras, DSLRs especially, even though this is a mirrorless, they're similar in that sense. They have a sensor. They have built-in features to automatically turn off the camera after a certain point, because if the sensor overheats, it can be damaged. So there are safety features built into the camera to turn off automatically, and it won't turn back on until the sensor reaches a certain temperature. Now with my Canon cameras, photography cameras, it's a pain in the ass, because it's usually about an hour that you can go, sometimes less, before that happens. The cinema camera doesn't have that issue, so it can literally be on and running for hours and hours and hours, and there's no limit.
Yeah.
With that camera, I would look into it, check some reviews, because most DSLRs, SLRs, anything like with a sensor like that that's not purely made for video might have an overheat protection function. So if you're live streaming and all of a sudden your camera just turns off and you can't turn it back on because it's too hot, that would suck.
Oh no, absolutely. So I've tested it with this one, and so apparently it was after a certain year that, because what was actually limiting the cameras a lot of the time was this law that they had in place, this weird law that you couldn't have a camera run over 30 minutes if it was strictly.
It's European law, yeah.
But that's been removed now apparently, so this camera doesn't have that, but it does have the temperature sensors built in. So I was able to go about an hour and a half. So I was able to like mess around with it and have it recording, like streaming for about an hour and a half before I was able, before it actually wanted to turn off or whatever. So I'd say it's still not a great live streaming camera, and I didn't really buy it for that. I'm actually going to be doing more like talking head YouTube stuff now, and just like short form content. So I just thought the camera would be great for that, compared to, like, I was looking at the resolution of my webcam. It's not that great.
Yeah, that's amazing. Have you figured out how you'll route your audio? Because you're newer, I think, to this. So
yeah,
you're gonna be
100%.
shooting, and you have an audio setup now. So does your camera take professional inputs? Like, can you put XLR sound directly into it? Oh, then perfect. Yeah, because if not, then I can, it's easy to do. You just got to make a slate. Usually what I would do when I was on, like, using different cameras, you set them all up, you hit record on all of them, you go up to, like, near their mics, and so when you go into the edit, you can see a spike from that clap, or, like the stake board, and then you just load it all up, assuming that, the sample rates are all the same.
Yeah,
it should be good.
I'm still learning all that stuff. I mean, this one actually, you were talking about the SLR or XLR cable. This one does not take an XLR cable. So what I was thinking I would do is I would still record through my mic and just record the video, and then I'll just scrap the audio from the camera feed, and then I'll just line them up or whatever, right? Like, I've done that before with other videos. It's more work, but I think there might be another way to get around it. So if you see right here at the top, I'll take this off actually.
I'm guessing you have a 3.5 millimeter, or what's known as a 1/8 inch input, like a headphone jack, right?
Yeah, it has a headphone jack.
Yeah. So you can get, I think I have it here somewhere. Actually, yeah. Give me 1 second. If you show me on camera, I can. Okay, so I recently bought this for Twitter Spaces, for the Aavegotchi Twitter Spaces that no longer are happening, so it's kind of a waste, but it's a iRig Pre 2. So this iRig Pre 2 basically allows you, and you can see on the back if you look at it, I don't know how, it's a little bright in here, so it might be hard to see, but this will allow you, basically the Pre 2, it's a preamp, so you could plug in the headphone jack into an iPhone or into your camera, and then you plug the microphone into this device, and it will pass the sound right through. So what you could do is plug your mic directly into one of these iRigs, and I think this was like $70 too, and then your mic can then be plugged directly into the camera, and then you don't have to worry about any of that stuff. You can also use this for
that's perfect.
Yeah, you can use this for your Twitter Spaces as well. Directly put, like, even one of these mics into this. It's a preamp, so it'll power it. Or like what I'm most likely going to do is I'm going to put my board directly into this, into my cell phone, because then I can play music, I can play sound effects, I can play my own mic, I can bring another people's
That's
mics.
how people do it. I was wondering.
Yeah, so you can get, like, people get a board to do that. You can do that, but one of these will do. It's just a preamp that outputs to a, like a 1/8 inch jack, or 3.5 millimeter jack, which is like a headphone jack.
Okay, yeah, that's a nice little hack. I'm gonna have to remember that. I was just trying to get this, like, this dead cat thing off the top, because what this is a cold shoe, but it's also it's a cold shoe, but it has like what do you call it, like direct connect. So there's certain Sony accessories that will slip right into it, and so Sony has also made a shotgun mic for this, which is actually supposed to be pretty good. So if I'm just doing talking head stuff, I could just put the shotgun mic on top and have it just pointed right at my face.
Nope, don't do it. Shotgun mics suck. They are shotgun mics. They're like, for a shotgun mic to be like good, like it has to be super directional. Like I have like a $700 shotgun mic that is like a standard that's used for a lot of like video stuff. It only will capture sound that's directly in front of it. So that kind of mic is good, but what happens is you capture all the ambience of the room. So when you're using a shotgun mic, you're gonna hear yourself and then the room. Always, I would always, if you can, default to one of these, or like even the handheld mics, because those will reject most of the ambient sound and get you. Because if not, you're gonna hear your room really, like, it's gonna, you'll notice the difference. It's gonna sound like shit. Very reverby.
in general, what do you think about any of these mics that they offer for these cameras? Because they have these ones that connect right into the headphone jack. You have YouTubers being like, "Oh yeah, just plug this little thing on top," and you can tell it doesn't sound that great compared to my condenser mic that I'm using right now.
Yeah, it's you got to think about it. That mic, the mics that they offer, even the ones that are like $300. When I first started out doing photography and video, I tried all of those mics. They're good because they're better than the mic in your camera. The mic in your camera is going to sound like shit. That's a step up from it, but what you need to do is just get to better mics. Like either put the mic directly on the sound source, because it depends on the proximity of the source of the sound to the camera. If you're in the back of a room watching a show and you have a mic on top of your camera, you're not going to hear shit. It's going to sound horrible. So what I used to do for this stuff is like I would have a 3-camera setup, and then I would move. I would run lines all the way down to the to the stage of the theater and use like condenser mics or directional mics and be close to the sound source, and then have it run back. It's it's like anything else. The more you pay, the better it's going to be. Yeah, I wouldn't buy a little shotgun mic. Like even if you're doing little interviews on the street or you're doing stuff like that, just opt for like a handheld mic that you can pass, because it's going to infinitely sound way better. And the thing is, like, way better. Like 90% of video is audio. If your picture is amazing but the sound sucks, the whole video's throwaway. You can get away with shitty video and great audio, but you can't get away with good video and bad audio.
Yeah, I've heard that quite a few times. So yeah, there's definitely some truth to that. You cannot listen to a podcast if the guy, his voice is just fucking clipping and rattling. You just can't hear. You can't listen to what they're actually saying. So that pretty much ruins it at that point. Sure. So what are you lighting up there? I see you. That looks like a.
I don't. It's a chillum, so it's like a little glass. It's a chillum one.
Oh, okay.
Kind of cool, easy to clean, because you can just pull off the bottom and then like get in there and like clean it out. But in terms of the bud, it was stuff that either it's a mix of stuff that I brought back from New York, and then stuff that my girlfriend's friend who visited from Chicago, she gave me like a fat nug. She had a whole bunch of weed, but she also gave me this, and we were talking about it pre-show, which I'm going to try out. And this is going to be, if I die, we know why. This is a homemade, pressed juice, THC, like a weed juice like thing. I guess I don't even know what the hell this is, but it's strawberry, pineapple, and watermelons. There's no preservatives. This has been in my fridge for over a week, and my girl's like, "Yo, you got to drink it before it goes bad," because I don't know what the shelf life of something like this is. So I was waiting for today, so I'm gonna drink this on air. I'm gonna probably drink like a quarter of it because I have no idea how strong it is or what's in it. But if I'm not there at the hangout tomorrow, you know why.
I mean, it could be like wine, like maybe it got fermented partially, and now it's like slightly alcoholic too.
Yeah, that's what I was telling her. I'm hoping the taste isn't horrible. Yeah, that's what I was telling her. I'm hoping the taste isn't strawberry and watermelon seems like a weird mix. Oh yeah, it's very watermelon forward. Yeah, very watermelon forward. I get some hints of watermelon forward. Yeah, it feels like it's all watermelon. Yeah, there's a little strawberry in there. I taste the weed too. All right, I'm just gonna sip it.
I don't think like strawberry and watermelon are not the best flavors to mask the weed green taste.
Yeah, and then I also went and stopped by a vape store. I got a new little vape. It's a UCAN. It's similar to the big metal one that I have, but the metal one stopped working a while ago. So I also bought a Delta 8 cart. I don't know if it works. I've just been hitting this, and it's kind of like I don't know if I'm high or what the hell it's supposed to do. But I actually put on a regular weed vape. So
is it actual weed? Like, is it made out of weed or?
It's Delta 8, which is not like THC. It has like I don't even know, to be honest. It's whatever the legal version of it. It's not CBD. It's like one thing away from being like regular weed, but you can't. It's I don't like, to be honest, I don't know. It was $15, so I was like, let me roll the dice.
It's technically derived from delta hydrocannabinol. But it's like it's derived from THC, just enough to make it legal. So man, that D8 is harsh as fuck. D9 is the stuff you want if you're gonna go with the Delta stuff.
Yeah, usually I'll do D9. This is a cart that I have from New York, but I haven't been able to like my what's it called? My the vape. It has like a the UCAN that's like a bigger battery. You have to put a magnetic like thing on the bottom and then you drop it in. After some time though, it doesn't stick, so it won't let you hit while you're sitting there. Like even if there's stuff left in the cart, this one seems it's just a plug it right in. So
I have the worst luck with cartridges, man. I've just kind of stepped away from it a little bit. I think I might be wanting to get back into it after seeing Blooms using his gadgets. I want to get one of those things. For your dabs. That might get me back into the whole game because I used to be all about the cartridges. I had a whole collection of cartridges, but I don't know. It felt like I could never really get through a full cartridge without it breaking, because I would drop it somewhere and it would shatter, or you would, like the actual like fluid, the oil would start leaking out of it, or the filter would stop working. It was just all. I just kept getting just bad cartridges. But,
yeah, that's the worst.
I'm liking these new gadgets, these new dad gadgets.
Yeah, we're getting more scientific out here. Just starting to fuck around. Right?
You know, Hefe, I started dropping in the chat some mics that I like, but I realized you were talking about being on the street, and that the Shure SM58, you know, it's a decent mic, but the main thing is, dude, I have put those things through hell over the years, and they just never stop working.
Those are good all-around mics, too.
One that you can just throw around and beat up. That's the one.
Yeah, those mics can take a beating. Like, they're used, a lot of people use those mics to mic up instruments as well, because they're not gonna like, what's it called, the diaphragm isn't super sensitive, so it's not gonna like explode. Like with certain condenser mics, it's like, you know, a film of like gold, so it's very sensitive, so you don't want to put super loud sound sources into it because you could damage the mic. The SM58s are made to, they're like tanks, they're made to be like thrown around and fucking, those are the ones you see people usually drop when they're dropping a mic. It's SM58, because otherwise people are pissed.
Exactly.
That's good to know. I mean, even what you got there, what NoFuturistic has, the SM7B, I think. That's like the pretty much industry standard for podcast mics. Like I was looking into getting that mic, but I ended up getting this one instead. This is the Logitech Blue. It's made by Blue, the company. They make different mics. It's pretty good, and I honestly would have got what you got there, NoFuturistic, if I didn't get such a fat discount on this one. This one's like super cheap compared to, well, I shouldn't say super cheap, but it was discounted enough that I wasn't going to spend, you know, if I'm going to spend 300 or 500, I'll just spend 500.
Well, you also have to keep in mind that like with a mic like this, the mic is a great quality mic, but what matters almost even more than the mic is the preamp, because this is an unpowered mic. It's most like we're talking the SM58, you could plug a cable in. You don't have to get like basically a source of power from the device that's actually amplifying it. It will just pass right through. These have to be powered, so you have to have phantom power. So if you get a really cheap preamp or like a crappy preamp that's noisy, you lose some of the quality of this. So like, although this was like $300 or $400, the board I'm using to get, as a preamp is a $500 board, and it's a little pricey for the number of inputs it has. But this board, it's an Allen and Heath board. Like it's similar. It's the bigger version of the one I brought to East Denver. I bought those boards because they have really good preamps. They're clean. You won't get a ton of noise coming off it, so you don't have to process the signal even more. So if you're buying a mic like yours, do you have to have your mic plugged into a mixer for it to work, or is it just like plug and play?
This one has a preamp built into the mic.
Yeah.
So there's a preamp in the mic, but then I also have it hooked up to my audio interface, which has its own preamp. So I don't know if that's like a double filter. I don't really know how that works, but
I would just make
I
sure
know there's a preamp in here,
on
and
it.
I know there's one in here.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
I would test it. Do some recordings when you have some free time with the preamp on your mic on, and then turn off that preamp, and then turn on the preamp on the audio interface, and then maybe try with both. It's probably gonna sound like shit, but at least then you know, like, you get like kind of a profile in your mind of what it's supposed to sound like.
Yeah.
Yeah, you generally want to use one or the other. Two are gonna give you like signal crosses, like frequency bounces and shit. But probably your one on your but your Not in the mic. The other one's probably going to be a more steady, powerful phantom power for you.
Yeah, because you have to also think about it.
But you never know. Like No Future said, definitely test them both.
Yeah, experiment a little. But this is the way I always avoided like USB mics or mics with built-in preamps, because if the mic costs $300, that's what it costs for you to buy it. Part of that cost is now, instead of going towards the quality of the audio, like the diaphragm and all that, to like the electronics, where I'd rather just buy a separate piece of gear that I know I can get something really good, and this is just the best it can get, you know?
Yo, that's so true with mics. Yo, that's so true. And with like sometimes your amps, like if you're thinking about getting a preamp for an amp, it's a lot better to go for the specific type. Like get the preamp, the badass preamp, get the badass amp. But don't go for the one that went for the combo deal, because it's gonna suffer on one side or the other.
That convenience, it costs you a little. That's why I'm also not a fan of wireless transmission, because it's never going to be the same quality. Or, I mean, I won't say never, but at this point, it's not the same quality of a hardline thing. If you're doing wireless
it's
video,
very true with streaming. It's very true with streaming, like live streaming, 100%. Like a hardline connection, you know, is gonna be way better any day. Well, even with my I gotta run my cord from this room downstairs because I don't have an Ethernet port up here in this room yet. I'm gonna get one soon. But right now, I got about 100-foot cord that runs from here all the way downstairs to the Ethernet port.
Kind of like what we had in ETH Denver, right?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, get yourself a little network switch. I mean, once you get the port, you'll be fine. But if you get a network switch, then you can spread it out to all the other devices in there. For audio, it really matters. For video, I don't even understand how people do that. Like, I know there are solutions where it's like, oh yeah, it's they communicate through whatever fucking frequency system, and I'm like, I can't imagine, like, it has to be like thousands of dollars for the unit, because if you buy anything wireless that's cheap, you'll get interference from everything. You'll get interference from lights, not even just cell phones and radios and shit like that. Anything that's emitting electromagnetic frequency is gonna fuck it up. So it becomes really like expensive if you want to get quality shit.
Sennheiser is always the way to go when you go wireless.
Those are expensive now, though. Like, those are when we were in ETH Denver, I was talking about, like, we were using that wired mic because it's a great mic, but it's wired. The handheld wireless version that's like similar but better that I used back in the day when I was working in live streaming and stuff, and like in studios, was the Sennheiser one. But you can get that with the receptor, like the pair. You buy the receiver and the transmitter, the microphone, and what goes onto the board or into the camera, and that was like $600. Now that's like $800, $900, $1,000 for like their sets. Crap, man! Inflation really hit some of this stuff really hard, and I wonder if it's just supply chain issues. Like, is it harder to get the whatever specific materials are needed to create this, or is it just like straight up dollar inflation? It just costs more because money is not worth as much.
There's a lot of fucking gold and silver and copper in them motherfuckers.
Little bits of,
not to mention chips.
It's like in Nashville, there's been a string of people stealing catalytic converters because of the platinum inside of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Those precious metals. So, Hefe, do we want to jump into the arena? There were some changes made today to the arena. If have you gone to the Gotchiverse yet? Because they've changed the look of the background too. It's kind of cool for the loading screen.
No way, dude. It's been I've definitely overlooked changes. Like, let's check this out. Where do you want to go first?
We can go to the arena. There are no players in there, but I warn you, if you get killed in the arena, it now has a 5-minute respawn. So it takes 5 minutes before you can respawn unless you pay 10 kek. Oh
shit, 10 kek to get back in.
Yeah, so roughly 13 cents. I'm not a big fan of that. I've been talking about it in the general chat because I feel like it's going to stop people from playing. I'd rather it be like 30 seconds. And if you want to get back in, you know, you pay 13 cents because people will still pay it then. But, you know, if you come in, if I'm doing a stream and I'm trying to show people the game and I get killed once and now all of us have to sit there for 5 minutes, it's going to kind of suck. Or if the player has to sit there, if they don't have the money to actually try out the game, it's going to be, I don't think it's the best move.
I'm okay with the 10k thing, but not for this. Like, if I could set up my own arena instance on my parcel, I'll pay 10k for that. This, I don't know about this. Maybe 10 FUD sounds like more reasonable. Like, you know, just a cute little 10 FUD contribution to the arena. Cool. I'd be down with that. I think 10k is a little bit pricey.
Yeah, so what do you think of the new background? You see how like I'm selecting my Gotchi, the way it looks? Yeah,
dude, I love it. The first thing I noticed actually when I looked here was like it's very much game orientated now. It's like this is the gaming stats of your Aavegotchi. You got the max HP. It's not talking. You can look at the on-chain traits if you want, but we're now kind of moving more towards like, okay, those are your on-chain traits. This is how your Aavegotchi is supposed to handle. And so let's look at Sam Dankman Freed here. Has 1,000 HP. We need to figure out what these attack rates are. We should probably talk about this tomorrow. Talk about the attack rate, evade rate, just kind of maybe. I'm gonna nerd out on it a little bit and try and figure this out. But these all look pretty good here, I think. So let's maybe use this one.
I was just trying to see what Gotchis. Some of these Gotchis have high HP.
Let's see. I was gonna say, do you see a big difference between your Gotchis, or are they kind of all one and the same?
Some are higher. I have client Gotchis in here, so a lot of my Gotchis are sitting in an Orium safe for Orium game night. I put them in there so that whenever we do game night, I just have this like I set up listings, and if people want to play, they can grab a listing. They just have to get on the whitelist. But I don't pull them out because I'm not channeling anymore. I don't really need them because I can just whenever I'm going into the Gotchiverse, I'm going in as NoFuturistic. Whenever I'm going into the Gotchiverse, I'm going in as NoFuturistic now.
Fair enough.
My namesake, gotta represent. My namesake,
gotta represent.
How about you on your end?
I'm having issues. Well, I'm trying to see my other Gotchi stats, but having some issues switching between.
Can you show your screen?
Whatever. Let's just.
Can you show your screen?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's switch this around. So it's just like it's frozen for me for some reason.
Could be a VPN issue.
Oh yeah, probably actually. Okay, let me try this again.
My computer's like, yo, we need to do updates. Restart me, motherfucker. I'm like, no, check back again tomorrow.
I always get, that's when I get the update invite, right in the middle of this, usually.
Well, it's because at this point, I do almost all of my work on my laptop. When I'm streaming, I'm on this computer. But even now, like talking to you, what I figured out, I actually figured out at Denver. Before I was going into Discord using the microphone on my laptop. My laptop would be plugged in as a source to my streaming device, but it wasn't the brain of the streaming device. So it wouldn't allow me to use, like to go to Discord, I had no way of using my audio board as the sound source. Once I started plugging this in as the brain for the ATEM now recognizes it as a sound source, so I can then pull the sound from the ATEM, which is coming from the camera, which has like a board bringing sound into the camera. Before I couldn't do that, so game changer. It made it like so much easier for Discord because it sounds better. It's just, but it, you have to play around a little to get there.
Yeah, I mean, sounds like a lot of well, not a lot of moving parts, just some moving parts though that I'd have to understand. The ATEM sounds useful for sure.
Yeah, I mean, but if you have a standard setup, you don't really need it. Like at this point, I turn on the ATEM. This whole setup gets turned on just a few times a week, so it's it's perfect for what it is. Just a little setup for plug and play.
Yeah.
All right, you're in there. Let me jump in there.
I'm in.
Yeah, I had fun in here yesterday. I was in the Gotchiverse in the arena for Orium Game Night, but I had the community manager, the lead. I met him in New York for One Planet, which just recently listed Aavegotchis on their marketplace, their Polygon marketplace. So we were talking about, like, I didn't realize One Planet actually existed prior on Terra. They're originally a Terra marketplace, and that they were brought over to Polygon after the whole Luna collapse. And a lot of projects that we're seeing come up on Polygon are actually migrating from Terra. So it's just cool to see that, because I knew that there were a lot of projects coming from Solana, but I didn't realize there was no, these Terra projects were coming. And it's weird because the Solana homies are haters. They get angry. They talk shit about Polygon all the time. But I've never seen a single person that's a Terra NFT owner, maybe I just don't know enough, that shits on Polygon. So it's just kind of that dichotomy. One community's pissed, the others are just like, all right, man, this is where we're going. This is where we're going. The Terra migrant.
So someone has logged into the arena here as Scam Bankman Fried, and I have Sam Dankman Fried. So right now we got two Frieds in the arena.
Trying to figure out where you are. Are you at the top?
Yeah, you gotta come hang out with us, I guess.
There can only be one.
Damn it! I can't be.
And we got
walking
Charlie.
through the fire. Right? There you go. You're at the top. Yeah.
Oh
I'm
man,
about
I
to
like
die.
Charlie's outfit too. Little knife, little.
I'm gonna have to
pump
wait 5 minutes. I used to pay the 10 kek. Actually, can I? I don't have kek in my wallet, so the.
Oh man, I only have 69 kek, so I can only log in 6 times.
Yeah, I haven't been transferring. Channeling, so I don't have that much Alchemica. The Alchemica I have, I use towards game nights, but
We should kill some liquidators instead, I think.
10 kek. Okay, I'll transfer 80. That should speed this up.
I'm gonna try and drop some Protolix in the arena here. Oh shit! Someone just dropped one.
Yeah, have you deployed the new ones? They went up in price.
They went up. What are they costing now?
I believe they cost 1,000 FUD. I think the rest of the numbers remain the same, but 1,000 FUD. Will this let me rejoin?
Oh shit! I gotta get out of here. I gotta get out of here. Run for it.
You were defeated by Hazard. That sounds just about right?
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh, look at that. It shows you who deployed the Protolix now too, which is kind of cool.
Yeah, I love that, because when I was being chased around, I kept dropping all these enemies, and I was talking shit on the stream to, so it was just fun to be like, yeah, I'm just like, this was, like, get off me. Like, this is like my little pistol that I'm shooting at you to keep you away from me. Here, distraction. No futuristic. It's coward and dropped an enemy. I'm like, that's fine.
Oh man, I got one-shotted.
Okay, so this is good. We're figuring this out now. So you have to manage these tokens are in-game. You have to move them from your wallet into the game.
Yeah.
So this would be similar to your super chat tokens. They're not going to drop if you get killed, but you can use them for in-game purchases.
Yeah, it's like your little wallet, your game wallet.
See, I love that, but see, we should be taking advantage of little things. And, they're doing amazing, and I'm asking for too much. I recognize that, but I would love a way that if I have USDC or just straight up Ghost in my wallet, I can move it in. And then you can charge me a fee to do the swap in the game. But I guess it wouldn't be an on-chain fee. It would be literally for them. It would go to Pixelcraft. Like,
Just trying to figure out how they would do that on their end.
Well, it's like it becomes like, because what happens is right now, if we think about it, like if you go to an arcade that uses tokens, I have a bunch of them here, right? So I go in, I give them real money, they give me back fake money I can use in the game, but I can't cash it out. What's in there is in there. That's it. The tokens are non-transferable. They're worthless. They're just in-game tokens. tokens. So they do a similar thing. I drop in $100 and I have basically $100 of in-game credits. So if I want to, whatever the going rate of that credit at the time, I could swap it, and they charge a little in-game fee because these tokens don't exist in a sense, right? It's
that
just
would
on
be
their
great
server.
for onboarding.
Yeah, you just bring in USDC, or I think they have a credit card integration. I don't know if it's here now. Is this the credit card?
Yeah.
No, the attack. Yeah, they don't have the credit card here, but like if they had that, where I can literally just, because this part, the arena, this is the centralized part of the game. Like this is not on chain. We're moving assets in, so you're basically buying tokens, like buying those like arcade tokens. So fuck it, make it easier, like for me to swap a Ghost or USDC or even Matic, and then they can generate a small fee from that. I think it would just be on their back end.
I did finally get Dan to take a look at Keep. I don't know how much he got into it after that day, but that shit will handle all of this.
Yeah, that'd be great.
People come into Aavegotchi and literally just start buying gotchis by, signing up with a wallet. I mean, with an email address, or fucking with an OAuth through Twitter or GitHub or Discord, and have a wallet set up for them on the back end. They don't even have to fuck with the wallet until they want to later on, but they can be buying NFTs, playing these games, all that shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we're just trying to lower that barrier to entry. Like you said, we're kind of in the centralized part of the game, the off-chain part of the whole thing. And so, the easier it is to get on there, maybe even without a wallet. I'd love to see a walletless solution where you can just rent a gotchi with your credit card. Like that'd be amazing for someone to do that. But I don't know.
That's what Keep does for you. On the back end, it sets up a wallet, but you can buy with any credit card or bank account right there and start playing without ever, touching a wallet, learning about blockchain or anything.
Dang, that's interesting.
Let's all go to the center of the arena, since I don't think there's anybody fighting, right?
Hazard got me last time.
Soju is here. Hey, Soju.
Oh shit. Hey, I'm gonna step off for real quick for a sec. I'm gonna get some water. I'll be right back. But we will. I don't know. We'll figure out. We'll figure something out. We should like have some battles set up or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I got some kek in here. I can afford to take the hit. There we go. Yeah, it's been a good week. T-Bird, I see you're in here. Monty Python, are you on the boat? Are you doing any trips this week or this weekend?
I just got done with the trip. Bachelorette party.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, I got my kayak, so I actually went out and took it for a joyride. It was pretty good.
Yeah, it was pretty chill. Gave him like an extra hour. Would have been awesome. Cooler if I was flying the Aavegotchi logo.
Yeah, how's that going? Actually, how are the sales?
It's going good. It's kind of slowed down a little bit today, but yeah, I mean, like I'm pretty impressed overall. Like that we have over 30 people holding the NFT now, and over 2K in Ghost raised, so it's pretty good. 31 holders, so about halfway there. As far as selling them out, it'd be cool if we sold one for 1,400 ghosts. That would put us a lot closer. And then but we'll see. I'm still waiting to hear back from one of our friends about what they're gonna do for art wise.
Awesome.
So to maybe entice some of those bigger spenders, 420 and up. I know a few of y'all already have, so that's much appreciated.
Yeah, it's the DAO I think is short-sighted, so this is something that needs to get done, and we're gonna do it.
Yeah, I'm supposed to have a trip tomorrow, like a 5-hour, but there's all these thunderstorms and a bunch of rain in the forecast, so I've been like, I need the money, so I'm almost, and they're kind of my friends, so we'll see if they want to go ride the lightning.
Yeah, it'll be good. How's the weather? I mean, you said it was rainy, but like, is it warm at least at this point in the year?
Yeah, it was pretty hot today. Like definitely like 80s. So sunny and hot and windy, super windy. So it's good. Really nice sailing today. The water's really clear and nice. So, but we're supposed to get rain for like the next 3 or 4 days. So I'm glad I had a trip today. It worked out.
Yeah, today. It's kind of similar. It's like in the 80s, but it's also rainy. It's been rainy the last 2 days, so I'm kind of hoping it paused on the rain a little while ago. I'm hoping it stays kind of just chill because I want to go out tonight and go hang out with some friends. But if it's raining, I don't want to ride my bike in the rain. So it's like I can take an Uber, but I prefer to ride the bike. Just easier to come back. Oh, Soju has a big boy ready. Cool. I love that Nimbus cloud. The way it just spins around your head, it just looks really cool.
I actually have collected all the ingredients to craft a Nimbus. Haven't done it yet, though.
The Nimbus. Yeah. Did anybody, I guess, craft any of those new tiles? Because we do have the Alchemica spending competition going on right now, and I think 4 new tiles dropped today that you can craft.
Oh, dang.
I wonder if you can craft them in this item shop. No. Oh, Protolic.
Yeah, I'm gonna run away.
I haven't been buying anything lately. I'm hardly crafting my life lately.
Damn it, this one's focused on me. Run, buddy, run. Oh, no. China, what's up? I see.
I gotta heal up a little bit here before going back in.
Yeah, that Protolic kicked my ass pretty quickly.
Okay, I'm sure he's still around, so let's get a couple swipes in.
Oh, kill him. Yeah, these things are tough to kill. Damn, China, look at that fire rate.
Dang.
Yeah, my Gotchi's gonna die. He's tired now. He's like, damn
Trying
it.
to see where y'all are at.
We're like to the left. Monty Python's being chased.
We all healed up by the time I get there, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm just trying to. I gotta get the AP up. The health isn't too bad. Oh, I didn't know that hazards actually damage the liquidators. That's pretty cool. Oh no, it's coming back.
Oh, it like one-shotted me. Dang it.
No, I think I accidentally killed you. It's friendly fire.
Friendly fire.
Said I killed Sam Bankman-Fried. I was like, oh no,
Oh shit.
not Sam.
You couldn't do it before they took all the money. Oh, who spawned another liquidator? I killed the big boy first, and the big boy's coming for me. And I'm on the keck running. Don't kill me! Oh, it's
shit.
fucking me up.
This
God, help me.
thing's savage.
I keep shooting it, so it keeps coming for me. Come on, buddy, run. I'll pick up that little bit of keck. I'm gonna need that in a minute when I have to respawn. There we go.
Oh, this is madness. We got little baby licks running around here as well.
Okay. So we're running away. Just gonna go walk over here. So is there anything we want to discuss? Any happenings of the last few days?
Have you been following the whole Ovix discussion very closely?
Very closely, yes.
I seen a couple. I was starting to read some of them today, and I saw your some of your viewpoints in there. What's your whole take on this thing? Because I've seen some community members from Ovix also taking part in this thread.
I think, well, the one thing I will say, and I said it in the thread, is Bearded is saying that we should keep slow mode on because there's going to be a wave of Ovix users who are being discourteous and jerks, and I just don't think that's the case. The people who have come in have been reasonable, and even through a slow mode, if people were really trying to be jerks, they would continue. Like if it was a wall of people, it would continue. Like I've been into Discords where a rug happened, like like a mint is going down and something happens and everybody starts freaking the fuck out, and slow mode still doesn't stop that wall of comments. We don't really have that in our Discord, and even the announcements from the Ovix, I guess, mod to the community, like. We're like, hey, come in here, discuss, but be polite, be courteous, know your shit, and don't let's stay focused on what we're trying to do here. So it was like, yeah, like I think I've advised them in that chat of our governance because they don't understand it. So they think that the directors can just go and pull some lever and make something happen. But I told them, I'm like, look, we are literally just multi-sig signers. We have no discretion. We can't, even if I wanted to do anything, I can't. Like if I do anything, then I put myself at greater risk just because we're not really then a DAO. And if we're not a DAO, then that's a bigger issue.
That's a big deal. Then we're talking about like what we just saw with Collab Land DAO, right? Like that was fucking, it was not good.
What happened with Collab Land?
Well, they basically voted to not be a DAO anymore, like the top people.
Really?
And they just kind of took all the money and we're like, yeah, we're going to do a community fund. Who else did? Someone else did that recently where they announced they were going to be a DAO. Oh, it was Aragon actually. Aragon is no longer a DAO. Remember we were on that call with them, how they're like, oh, we're going to be a DAO, and it was a big discussion about how Aragon's going to be this DAO with community funding. I think there was some sort of an governance exploit on their protocol, and they were like, yeah, this is all just messed up now. This is not going to work. So now Aragon is like more of like a community startup incubator for like DAOs, I guess.
We're the bravest friends in the space.
Oh man, I got killed
shit.
when he dropped. I gotta run back.
Oh, dude, it's
No.
fucking just showering Alchemica here right
Sorry, how'd I kill you?
I died like a second before it all dropped.
That's...
Well, there's still a lot over here. I'm just gonna pick it
Yeah,
up. It's all gonna get here anyway.
This is just a
Yeah.
grand.
Hey, are the protolit kills gonna count as our kill requirement to be able to exit with these pockets?
Oh god, so someone has to be the sacrificial
Hardcore
lamb.
will come in and kill us eventually. Yeah. Also,
That's
I
good
think this idea of like scholars scalping in the just sitting around to collect pennies. I think that's all like fake. Because we're in the arena right now and there are no scholars in here. This is a known event weekly. There's no one in here trying to murder us and take the money. Like,
It definitely was the case earlier. Me, Light Piglet, and Supreme Pablo joined forces and chased out a little clique of a little gang of jackals.
Jackals.
I don't want to disincentivize those people because those are guilds. Like, isn't that what we want?
I think we want that. But
That's what the arena's for.
yeah, but
I definitely am not opposed to them. I just the solution is just to making other teams with your other friends and being better.
yeah, I mean, I think that's all part of the game.
Open market violence. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had a couple of friends recently get gotchis, and they're like, yeah, I jumped in the arena, man, I got destroyed. They just ganged up on me, and I was like, yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. You gotta get with a gang, bro.
Exactly.
It's like when you join prison. It's like you gotta get in with the crowd.
That's
Yeah.
if you want to be antisocial, pay 30,000 ghosts and buy something that will smack everybody on contact. Then you get to be by yourself. But at
Or
this
go
point,
just- Or go just run around the gotchiverse. You don't have to be in the arena.
I will say that the team warfare is quite fun. Running around the corner, watching Piglet chase someone down the chute, and meeting him on the other end. You feel like Velociraptors.
I do think the one-on-one feature will be nice, because then you'll have people be able to go on one-on-one battles.
Honestly, I've been wanting to do that. Just almost like having kids in the schoolyard. And we all stand around one of these purple fast-moving tiles and just observe the one-on-one dueling that occurs there. Don't leave the arena.
Hell yeah!
I've tried that a few times.
Looking out the saloon window.
It's just you always get those scholars. You always get that one guy that comes in there and just has to take his last hit.
Yeah, it'll be interesting once we have leaderboard competitions, even if there are no prizes involved, just like, or like small prizes. You got to have some kind of prize. It'll be very interesting. We'll have a lot of fun, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I think we should have
you're asking for it.
I think we should have schematics that you can only get if you like win in the arena. Like there's like a mythical schematic that you can. There's only like 50 of them, and you can only get them by getting a certain rank in the arena. It'd be things like that.
It should definitely have its own separate leaderboard.
It's interesting. You were talking about DAOs, and earlier I was reading this Twitter thread, and it was like people arguing why Web3 games should not be DAOs, and like the limitations, and like, I mean, this week has been a black eye for DAOs. If like what's happening, like that we're dealing with. Not that governance isn't working, but the complications of governance. We're all gonna witness this now as we have an entity within our own like ecosystem that controls not a majority of the vote, but a large portion of it, and we're like tied to some of their actions now. This is the point I think we need to iterate. This is where we learn and try to build something better, or something more that makes more sense in a sense.
Well, actually, somebody just put up a recent post the other day, and I want to get your guys' take on it. I think it was immaterial. Well, it doesn't really matter who it was, honestly, but the idea was interesting. The idea was that we remove basically token-based voting. So you'll only be able to vote with your gotchis, land, and all your other assets, your wearables. Everything minus the ghost token would be used for governance. Anything that is non-governance, so like the marketplace, the gas fees for Gotchi chain, all that stuff would be ghost token utility. What are your thoughts on like asset only, hard asset only voting compared to token voting, which we all know is broken, but maybe there's alternatives.
I don't like it. First off, we're gonna have an issue right now because we're not killing each other. My bag is full, so I can't pick anything else up, and I can't leave. So we're gonna have to start killing each other.
Let me pause you on that because we got a chain. So Soju took the first hit, and I got a kill on Soju, so I'm exitable. So let me exit, and I'll go dump my bag, and I'll come back, and y'all can farm me.
Y'all can farm me. All right.
Yeah. So in terms of that proposal, the prop, whatever, the forum thread, I'm completely against it. I don't like the idea. I was talking to my girlfriend about it. I feel like it's almost like we've heard this statement in a recent meeting about the idea that rarity farming, like the idea of tying rarity farming to protocol. Like, what is this? Is the protocol more about rewards, or is it about building community? So I feel like this is just a way to separate rewards further. Like these people who are like protocol maxis are now finding a way to make their vote even more valuable, because now we're excluding why would a gotchi versus asset vote on a protocol thing? I think they're going to be two separate snapshots, correct? Or am I like just
No, I think you're right. It's almost feeling like it's breaking it into like a gamer community and an investor community.
Yeah. So investor community is extraction. And it's funny that the very people who call out extractors are building an extraction community. And that's what their goal has been the whole time. That's what this protocol is. It's a pay me out slowly system. So by separating assets, you're just separating voting power and just further consolidating the voting power on that side for the people who are already in control. So now it's easier for them to push things through. And at this point, I almost don't even care, because it's just plain invisible. It's already like that, in my opinion. And this, I'm telling you based on the feel of the room and what I watch and the things I've read. Is it a bad thing? I don't know. Do we want the ability for my land? Like right now, even if you put all of my assets together, I still don't really have much voting power, so it doesn't really make a difference. I don't really have a say anyway. But I just think it's a negative for the DAO, because we're going to see the protocol. Basically, you're removing the ability for any rewards that are protocol based to be towards the Gotchiverse. So land rarity farming of any sort. It just really is separating protocol and player rewards. And right now, protocol rewards are what, like $7 million? What's the pool for player rewards? There is no pool that I know of in the DAO, correct? I know Pixelcraft has its own bag for player rewards, but we don't have a say in what they can do with that. So I feel like this is pushing us towards trying to force Pixelcraft for us to have a say in that bag, and not really making it clear what the DAO's involvement will be towards the, like player rewards for the Gotchiverse.
Yeah, I think overall this is a situation. This is a kind of a governance attack, or has the potential to become a governance attack. But it's like a slow attack. You know what I mean? It's not happening so quickly that it's alerting people, but it's happening slow, and it's just
boiling the frog.
Go ahead.
They're boiling the frog.
Boiling the frog. Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm in the center of the arena. If anyone needs a kill, so they can exit with a bag. Feast.
Who put that proposal out, by the way?
You, Mr. Sales, or Charlie XCX?
I'll be kind. I'm Charlie. You're lucky, Sales. I was about to feature the wolves.
Okay, now I can exit. But I'm not gonna exit. Kill me. Take the money. I wanted to get the one kill so I have a stat. I don't think this Gotchi has ever killed anybody.
I'm happy to help.
Hefe,
that was from Immaterial, I think.
My bag's
it's
not full
actually-
yet.
I think it was Immaterial's leading that conversation.
Yeah, and I don't want to be like, I'm not, oh shit, the liquidator will kill me. I'm not trying to like be negative or conspiratorial, but like it just feels like that. We're separate. There's no real reason to separate the voting power if that's indeed what's going to happen. Like why? What is achieved by that? If like, it just feels like we're trying to force the hand of Pixelcraft or just evade responsibility. It goes back to that whole rarity farming thing. The DAO should have no obligation to fake Gotchi holders. That's what I heard. The DAO has no obligation to building or maintaining a community. That's what I heard. It sounds like the DAO it has to do is maintain
Rarity farming.
Payouts for like 30 motherfuckers. And I don't, I will just come out and say, fuck that. No, that's not why I got involved in this. This has always been that we are building a fun experience game. Pixelcraft from the beginning has said that eventually, like they have basically told us we're going to get nerfed. Like the idea is that we don't want the barrier. This is supposed to be a mass adoption type of thing. We want to onboard hundreds of thousands of users because that's what leads to success. The community does that. Gameplay does that.
Yes.
We're supposed to be cultivating. We can't
not
do
classes.
those things. Yeah.
To clarify, this would take the ghost token out of governance?
No, it would be the ghost token would be a protocol token, like for voting. Same thing with gotchis and I think wearables, where Alchemica and Gotchiverse Land would be a separate voting. I don't know if I have to look and read it again. Like a separate
It's
thing.
two different classes essentially. Yeah, it's still the same counting of the ghost, but he's breaking it off into like non-players basically. So if you have ghost, if you got a big bag of ghost and a whole bunch of gotchis, you're in one voting bracket, and you vote on Aavegotchi protocol governance with that VP. And then things that affect the Gotchiverse explicitly are going to be like, yeah, please do.
I'll bring it. Let me bring down my gotcha. Somebody kill me. I'm hiding behind a tree. I'm going to bring my Discord onto the screen so people can see it. Just give me 1 second. There we go.
So, just coming from like...
Oh, you got to flip it. I think you got to flip it somehow. It's like backwards and upside down.
Oops.
Coming from a legal standpoint, I'm not sure that we could do that without
I agree.
suffering a pretty bad fucking fine.
Mm-hmm.
Because the governance token's literally supposed to be controlling the game protocol, like the game and the protocol is one fucking thing, and that's the way it's been advertised as from the beginning since we've been selling the ghost token. So I don't think we can legally do that, even in like current regulatory standards.
I
It's just
assume I
that
agree with that.
I agree
think
with
that
NoFuturistic's
making an
point.
investor class.
Yeah, I agree
Well,
with
let's read this. We have a full idea before we jump in too far. So I'll just read it very quickly.
Yeah.
Split protocol and Gotchiverse VP. Throughout the history of our DAO, we've made various incremental changes to how our voting power is calculated. Each change individually made sense at the time, but I believe the sum of these changes has resulted in some oddities in terms of what VP can and cannot control. For example, land can be used as VP for protocol changes such as rarity farming or closing the curve, but Alchemica cannot be used as VP when voting for Gotchiverse specific proposals such as channeling or parcel rolls. Therefore, I'd like to propose that we split our governance between Aavegotchi Protocol and Gotchiverse into the following VP calculations. Aavegotchi Protocol, Ghost, including LPs and WAP Ghost. Gotchi's Wearables. Gotchiverse is land at 1 voting power per pixel. Alchemica, including LPs, at 1 voting power per 20 FUD standard. So 1 FUD is 0.05 voting power. 1 FOMO is 1/10 of a voting power. 1 alpha is 20% of a voting power, and 1 KEK is a half of a voting power. This would mean the current total VP for Gotchiverse would be a total circulating land VP equals 16,149,856 VP. Total circulating Alchemica VP equals 14,684,145 VP. Let me know your thoughts, friends. So off the top, it's splitting it, but you are creating this thing where it's like, I don't know if he's like, now I'm a little confused after reading this. Does that mean, are we like, our voting power can only, like, if I have land, does that mean my land doesn't count when we're talking about rarity farming?
Yes.
I think that's what it's implying.
No, that's stupid. That's dumb. Like, guys, come on. These assets were sold all together. Like, you bought a Gotchi and you bought land because those things work together. Yes, one is a game and one is the original protocol, but the whole idea was that, you know, especially when we planned out the voting power aspect of it, you know how we fix all of this? Make Alchemica count towards your voting power.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Do that without this weird class break.
Yeah, that it's 100% a class break, because we've talked about it. I remember talking to T-Bird about this when we were driving. He picked me up from the airport in Denver. We're smoking the first joint I've had in like a month, and we're talking specifically about how the whole thing revolves around the Aavegotchi. It's like the wealth creation engine. Everything happens through the Gotchi. None of the rest of it really matters if you don't have the Gotchi. Like, you can rent the Gotchi, but that's why there's a rental system, because the Gotchi is the most important thing. So by doing this, you're separating everything, which I don't think is necessary. And it is just a class. It's a power grab.
It's 100% a power grab, and I think part of it actually goes back to the social reputation of the vault now. I'm hoping, you know, assets do start leaving the vault. I feel like that's going to happen, and they know that.
I can tell you a good chunk that already have.
But I mean, their VP is going down by the day, and like, people are happy to see it now.
Actually, to see what that's at.
I mean, their influence is going down, which is, in my opinion, it's a good thing. What did we talk about back in the day? Like, if Haunt, you know, before Haunt 2 even, Haunt 1, we were always talking about how when Aavegotchi DAO evolves, we're not going to be prioritizing the early large holders. We're not going to be prioritizing them because they've earned well worth their initial sums. If they were, you know, even using half a brain, they've earned well worth their initial investment. Has been probably returned multiples of times already just through rarity farming seasons.
Well, there's no guarantee or expectation that your strategy doesn't have to evolve as the product does either. There's no reason that they should be able to continue staying at that same level of weight and recognition.
It's kind of like a Pavlov dog situation, right? Because like, they've been used to every 3 months you get this little drip. Some people, it's not a little drip, it's a big dump that you get every 3 months. And I don't think a lot of that money makes it back in. Like, maybe initially rarity farming 1, 2, 3, that money was probably making its way back in. But I'd be curious to know, like, how much of that money actually, after rarity farming season's over, made it back into the ecosystem, and how much of it just left.
Yeah. And also think about what some of these traders' moves are going to be in that moment. If we did do this, you know, a lot of those who are wanting the governance will be moving their ghost out into assets, while traders are probably going to be like, oh, dump it, wait for that larger dump with all the governance shift over, and then pick up a shit ton of ghosts.
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't know their numbers, but it seems I remember seeing they had closer to 4,000 Realm and Vault. They have 3,800, so it's not a big drop. I don't know how many gotchis they had in there. And then
what are they at right now?
Say again?
How many gotchis are they at right now?
2,500.
Yeah, it's dang close. Yeah, it's really no real change from the prior.
The only thing I do see is that I remember looking at this a few days ago, or maybe a week ago. I thought there were a lot more gotchis currently rented. There's only 400 gotchis rented out of 2,500 in the vault. I remember it being closer to like 1,000. So like the utilization has dropped at the very least. But that could just be gas in general. People aren't channeling, that kind of thing.
Nonetheless, though, like that reputation is definitely not what it used to be. And so, like, I'm curious to know how this is going to affect our votes. We were talking about quorum earlier. How's this affecting quorum if, you know, the vault's going to be choosing what they vote on and what they don't vote on from now on?
Yeah, it's not good. But this is why I think, and I know I'm prepared because I always deal with it, and I had to deal with it last weekend, and I know how they are. I don't care. But that's why we need to have Ovix come and speak to us, because I'm tired of getting the information in the news from them because I don't trust them. And
we can't have them in between. Yeah, they cannot be the information delivery.
They can shout and fight all they want, but I want to hear Ovix out uninterrupted and hear what they have to say. And let me, you know, DYOR, do my own research and kind of figure it out. Because all I know is what I've been told by Bearded and what I've recently read by Ovix. But that doesn't, you know, we're not going into great detail. There are questions that I would like asked and answered, like, was there a formal Gotchi Vault partnership? There's been debate that was never a thing, even though people have shown screenshots saying it was. I'd like to know who wrote the proposal to send us the fucking bag. Like, that's a good thing. I'd like to know. We all want to know that. And then I'd like to know, you know, I don't really have a ton of questions for Ovix. You know, they like, I think I want to see what other people have to ask, but I want to hear their side of this. You know, that I think we have to do that if we're going to be objective.
Yep.
The only thing I think that I'm waiting on from Ovix is just like some kind of position of integrity where we can feel safe about where we're sending the funds to, that they are indeed going to benefit the Ovix users in the best way possible.
Well, and we'll discuss that during the meeting on Sunday. Gary did reach out to me around that time when you guys were talking about getting him on the meeting, and so on Sunday hopefully he'll be there, and we got him a slot to speak. So hopefully that's a chance to clear some things up, get their side of the story.
I just hope they don't screw it up, Hefe. I'm really hoping that they come in there with a plan and that they have some data for us and something like that's gonna make us more comfortable with the circumstance, opposed to, say, coming up on stage and begging us to please send them the money. That's what I'm concerned about it.
I feel like it's gonna be the second one, the begging.
I don't think it'll even be that. What I'm more worried about, based on the interactions I've had in one group chat with them where I said nothing and I just observed, was like they instantly went to like, why go to law enforcement when we can just handle this ourselves? It's like, bro, you're flexing a muscle that has no weight on us because we have nothing to do with this. We like literally, even if it was an inside job,
he's the one concerned about that.
That's not my, like, I don't think that. I don't think they did anything wrong about it. Like, I was talking to my girlfriend about it. If you look at Dr. Wagme's the transaction where he sold the Vigos, it happened 2-3 hours after the exploit. Like, that man probably got a fucking phone call in the middle of the night and like just panicked, you know? So I don't know the situation, but I don't want them to come in. I want them to talk to us and tell us why we should feel comfortable sending the money to them and what happened versus coming in and just like wagging a finger at us. Cause that's
they're doing this weird thing inside so I'm inside the Ovix Discord, just kind of, I'm lightly communicating, but mostly observing. But like the team over there is not inspiring me at all. The community, there's some smart folks in there. You know, they've got some friends that understand DeFi and have been around the block. Some piglets and stuff running around. But the team is doing this weird thing right now where they're telling their community that they can't introduce a like a reimbursement plan or a distribution strategy until they have funds in hand from the recovery efforts. And so we can't even tell you guys what we're planning on doing until we get the funds in hand. So just hang tight and we'll let y'all know. But we got to get the money back first before we can let y'all know anything. And many of them and us are both wondering why is that case at all. Pretend. Just do it in your head. Pretend that you've got the funds. What would you do with them? You don't need them before you announce what you're going to do with them.
I think I saw something in one of our discussions. I forgot who said it, but I think it might have been Mikey J. The Ovix team is in Switzerland, I believe, and their laws.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, like even if it wasn't like even if they didn't do it on purpose, like they can get in a lot of trouble. Like there's gonna be, I forgot the exact phrasing of it, but I saw it and I was like, that's like, that's an important thing to know. Like that does that
there's jurisdiction case law in their jurisdiction that they're currently residing in, where they could indeed be held responsible for this exploit. They could be the ones held responsible as the founders for deploying vulnerable code. So they could be the reason that their users have been wrecked. And in over there, they have case law that has established that they could be the ones held financially liable for that failure.
I don't think that doesn't make that does make sense though, doesn't it?
Yes, it does, because that's whose fault this is.
Like I mean, it's like out of all the things I've heard, that's probably the thing that made the most sense so far.
And that's why for us, like for me, this is just my opinion, but for us as Aavegotchi DAO, the only real question that we need answered is where can we securely park these funds in knowing that they will go to work for Ovix affected users. And that we're not going to hand them over to a sus founder and then founder dips and Ovix users really wished we'd have taken a different path of action. I think that's the only thing we know. We're not debating keeping the funds. That's not on the table.
That's not part of it. Yeah.
We just don't trust anything that I'm hearing from the Gotchi Vault leadership, and I don't trust anything I'm hearing from the Ovix leadership.
Well, it's because everybody's posturing because they don't want to get in trouble. And like I'm reading the thing that Ross sent us, and it is because he was saying like where they're based. User terms can't waive the liability for negligence.
Exactly. Yeah, they can't say that those users signed a waiver of use and you accept your own risk in DeFi. That's not true considering where the founders are residing.
Yeah, see, they're asking how we can help them. We have a process, we have procedure. Let's go through the procedure. We're giving you a space. We're not gonna, I told him, like I told Gary, because he wanted to know, like, we were talking about in the Ovix chat. It's like, we're gonna let your team come up, maybe 1 or 2 people, but this isn't a free for all where your community is gonna come up and start, begging and wailing. That's not
20 minutes. Fly through that 20 minutes too. They're gonna fly through.
And we will cut you off if you go for 25. We'll boot you off of there. We don't care.
You're gonna find out, I think, and this is not a negative thing, but it kind of is. They're gonna find out what we all know, that the DAO is a hard ass, and if you're not prepared and you don't have your shit together, they're gonna tear you apart. So I'm hoping it's, there are facts and there's it's sensible information. We can ask our questions. The Ovix community can be in the chat and have their conversation. I imagine that either the Gotchi Vault managers are not going to be present at all, or they'll be in there doing what they do, like yelling at people and shitting on people. So I'm not 100% sure what will happen, but I'm going to, I was telling somebody, because I want to go out tomorrow night. I was like, I'm going to be out till 5 in the morning, but I got to wake up and stream that and record that because that shit's gonna matter.
Oh yeah, this is some
because
real
last week one
coverage.
thing was, hey, please, when you do these streams, check your sound, that you're not having echo, because people were saying that it made it really hard to hear the last DAO call because there was a 2-second echo on the recording.
Damn. Yeah, I actually went back and heard that too. I was like, fuck. I had it unmuted in the restream for some reason, and so that was. Yeah. But yeah,
that's a team effort too, though. That's like on those of us that are there checking Hefe's stream. Just watch it for a moment.
Yeah, I mean,
make sure it doesn't sound like crap.
Yeah, to be fair, I always had Zombie or Hardcore be like, "Yo, it's good." Like I just didn't check it, so.
Yeah, so I can help with that too when we're there. A couple of us in here are starting to be really consistent about those, so I'm trying to do more where I can too.
Yeah, you can just yell. You can always tag me in the comments too if there's something wrong with the stream. I'll fix it right away for sure.
So, you all know how I feel. I'm very out there about it. Hefe, I have a general concept of how you feel about this, and I even saw them trying to go at you a little bit. Like, what's your point of view on all this? Because you are like the DAO like community manager or lead. I don't know what the exact term is that you go by.
It's so ambiguous by now. It's so many different things.
Like, what's your thoughts? Without like casting blame, or like, what do you expect as the host also to get hopefully out of this meeting? Like, what's the goal? Like, your aim?
For me, I mean, so first of all, how I feel about all this, I think the DAO is taken advantage of by community members that some people already had suspicions of, but a lot of others like actually trusted. And so now that trust has been broken in a way. I think someone else put it a really good way. There's a lack of consensus around this, and so some people feel violated by all of this, honestly. And I think I'm one of those people. And just especially riding on the back of what happened with like the lack of community support around like things that we really work hard towards, like the ghost ship, going to eat Denver. I feel like some of that's been undone through all of this, just through reputation, through association, things like that. So overall I feel pretty terrible about this. I wish we didn't welcome the Gotchi Vault so close early on and had like a clear like fences up separation between them, and I think there's some lessons to be learned here for dealing with future projects and communities like this. Like, what do we expect from a group like the Gotchi Vault that came in here with a lot of capital and was willing to put in the sweat equity, but at the same time now we also see that there were some questionable motives and there's a lack of trust now, but they also have integrated themselves into our protocol. So now I'm also thinking about what's going to happen with the Forge if this really goes south and gets really bad, or like ties are permanently kind of ruined in a way. So like it's just overall, all around, it's just not great at all. And from my perspective as a host, I think, well, I guess one thing I'd like to see from a host is to get more hosts up there. Like I'd love to see more people being able to host the Sunday meetings, because being the only guy up there, it does kind of like it does take away your voice to some degree. I do have loud opinions, like I have strong opinions, but I can't always. Actually, a lot of the time I struggle to express them because I get paid by the DAO. There was a meme that I threw up like a couple weeks ago. It's pretty funny. I'll see if I can find it. But basically, if you talk shit at a DAO that's paying you, they're probably going to stop paying you. And so it's not that I'm being paid to shut up. It's like I still want to express how I feel about this, but I usually have to see it in the comments first. And so I saw a lot of that in the comments, and I agree with 90% of the comments that were made during that DAO call. Even with Bearded, like, calling me disingenuous was actually hilarious. I didn't say a damn word, dude. Like 3 people called him out before I could even say anything. So I think everybody knows what's up. I think people are well aware of like this relationship that's been tarnished like permanently, I think. And what I would like to see is now more distance from like organizations like the Gotchi Vault, and we shouldn't be treating them like they're sub DAOs, because they're not. And if they are sub DAOs, then there should be some process for action around these things, or there should be some contractual agreements of, hey, this is in the contract, do not send any unsolicited funds to our treasury. There should be some kind of a agreement like that. Either that, or we go fences up, right?
Well, and that's where my disappointment comes in this, is because there was supposed to be that. Well, there wasn't supposed to be, but there was a perceived level of mutual respect. We didn't as a DAO, we didn't guide them too hard or restrict them or constrain them too hard in their own individual ops, but they were close enough, And so that's where I feel like there's just been, again, that violation of consent and this obvious lack of concern for our well-being as a project. And so it's a reminder that if this is that separate in their mind, then it needs to be that separate in ours.
What do we have in place for guidelines as a DAO right now? Like, we got nothing. I pushed like hard for the mission and vision, but it's like even more important than that was actually just like basic guidelines around voting. Like, we haven't really updated that since we started, since Snapshot was a thing. So I don't know. It's Like, can we pass bylaws through the DAO? Like, could we be the first ones to like pass a bill through the DAO that's like, this is the DAO Operations Act of like, this is how you fucking act with this DAO. Like, if we're paying you to build something, this is what we expect from you.
But we have to clarify so much shit before we do that. Like, let's think about just right now. The foundation. The foundation is now established. The foundation has a constitution. I don't know if that can ratify. To ratify that constitution, does that need to pass a DAO vote? Or is it just something that if it does have to pass a DAO vote, now we open it up to all these different attack vectors, which is crazy. So for this, I worry that pass anything where we make rules, we have to go through an entity that has a large position and is like tarnished, like you said. So it becomes like we're gonna face the same problems we faced before.
Yeah. So you're saying basically that might not actually be a solution. Like, it might not fix it.
I think it's too late, to be honest. And I mean, I've said that before, but now I really feel that way. I feel like it's too late. We've already fucked ourselves. Unless everybody moves their assets and dissolves that voting block, this is gonna be.
But that's the challenge, though. That is our challenge, and it's not too late because we can do that. It's just there's nothing that we can't undo here.
What does it take? Me, in my mind, like. My point of view, if I came home and if I did something that my family, when I come home, my mom's gonna whip my ass. If ands or buts about it. Responsibility and accountability. There's, how many, like, what do they have to do for people to pull their fucking assets? I think an exploit like this, for me, I would have pulled my assets. I think having that association is bad. People clearly don't give a fuck. They're leaving their stuff in there because the Gotchi Vault does what it's supposed to do. It earns you passive income. I mean, right now with 400 Gotchis rented, probably not, but like, what is it going to take? Do we have to hear that, like, they were part of the exploit before we see people, do the common sense thing, the decent thing, in my opinion? I don't know.
I think we're in that path right now, quite honestly. Like, I am already withdrawn. I'm out. I'm looking for liquidity for VLT so I can dump and exit fully. I think that that's a step in the right direction. I think that there are reasonable users out there like me that didn't see it as an evil entity fully, but now post this situation, I've seen bad behavior to the point that I no longer want to support or patronize this. I don't want to go on with this. And quite honestly, the Vault is, as an entity, it's its own thing. But Bearded specifically has demonstrated a terrible, terrible show of character for me throughout this entire example. And it's got me more disappointed in the Vault managers than it does in the actual Gotchi Vault and VLT holders. I'm not as upset about VLT holders. I'm more disappointed in them because apparently they're the block. And I actually was checking some of my friends that I consider friends that are whales that have VLT blocks that aren't super active in our space to see where they would throw some of their votes. And they voted ways that I didn't think they would have, and it made me feel like, are they uninformed? Because I don't think that they support those behaviors, but I think that they just don't know any better right now. And so it's really mostly about awareness. I was actually pretty shocked during last Sunday DAO call that more people didn't join in on what felt like essentially kind of just you and I sitting there beating the hammer about seeing some kind of discussion about the behavior of the Gotchi Vault in this whole instance, and that might be the more important thing to discuss here. It's not so much the OVIX exploit and liability and who did it and who didn't do it or anything like that. It's more about who screwed us. Like, none of this, we have wasted almost 2 weeks of our DAO's time, energy, and effort of members explicitly because of one other entity's decision to throw us into the meat grinder. That is, to me, the thing to be discussed.
This reminds me, because I've sat there, I have a video that was shared by Paulie and a whole bunch of other people when it happened, of Zagabond, when he was making a statement about learning and all that bullshit. And it feels like this. That's what it feels like. The Azuki community does not give a fuck about what he did in the past because number go up. They're protecting their bag. Anybody, that's how humans are. We protect our bag. That's why when...
Well, I just said it too, right? I mean, I just said it just not long ago.
Yeah, I literally, when I bring up points and start fights, people are like, chill, man, you're fudding us. It's like, no, this isn't fudding. I'm not saying fuck Aavegotchi. I'm saying, hey, there's a problem here. Yeah. You don't want me to discuss the not niceties about it because it doesn't look good on the outside world. But I think it looks worse for people to come in and see the house is on fire and we're all doing nothing. Like, that's bad. So people, like, it doesn't surprise me that people wouldn't care because they're biased to their bag.
So, like, I mean, we're in a tough situation here, even with the Vault. Like, let's say we had the ability to buy a bunch of VLT at whatever price and just to use it as a governance attack to defend our own DAO. Like, that would be the move, but that's not going to happen because any vote that we put in on our snapshot to implement something like that would backfire on us. People would vote against it in order to protect their own bag, especially the Gotchi vault. So it's a tough situation to be in there from that perspective. And then you also look at what NoFuturistic was saying with the rarity farming and the way the protocol pool has been handled up until now. It doesn't look like we're gonna see like the innovation and the all the incredible things that we wanted to implement through our DAO and put our funds to work. I don't know with this current voting block working against the DAO if it's gonna happen anytime soon. You know, like, look at where the DAO is right now. We are moving towards metamorphosis. Soon the DAO will get even more responsibilities. We'll be able to create our own hunts and do like crazy things. That
metamorphosis never implied that we were turning into something good.
See, the thing is that concerns me greatly is Maury said it in the chat yesterday that he's thinking of stepping down, and I'm sure a lot of the directors are. And if enough of us step down, then nothing can happen. Because like, how do you like? You would have to depend on the DAO to vote in new people. Like, I don't know what our emergency plan is if all the fucking directors quit, right? What's the plan?
Who's the second string, bro? Who's the second people in line behind you guys?
Like, it might legit be turned into a state, because like, if it's just for the requirements to be able to be a director, you have to have people who are willing to dox themselves and go on record, essentially. So, you know, I feel like we saw all the candidates who were down for it before, and a lot of those candidates who were down for it also stepped away because they were like, I remember when the second vote went, it was like 13 people vying for 9 spots.
Yeah.
And we probably burnt some bridges from people who wouldn't come back. So it's a dangerous situation. It's a very dangerous situation.
Oh, man, yeah.
Don't leave me, brother.
But I mean, no, I mean this.
I want to see. Sunday's important to me because I'm also watching Ovix, but I'm also watching how the DAO and Pixelcraft behaves, because this is all very important. Like,
I'm not gonna lie, I feel like Pixelcraft is in the same boat though. I think they're observing us. I think that they're very much stepping back and being like, all right, boys and girls, y'all want to be adults? Y'all want to tell us what our treasury balances are? Y'all want to be the ones to set the rules and set the tone? Then take care of your own shit. You got an emergency. What do you want to do?
If it's true, and I'm not saying it is, I'm going based on what Bearded said, where the vote to drop the hot potato was first checked with Maxi and Coder Dan. That's problematic, because then we're not really a DAO. And I understand in emergency situations that it just doesn't. I don't see any situation in my mind as a logical person that instantly, once that happens, it wasn't brought directly to DAO discussion and say, hey friends, we were just informed of this thing. We need to talk about this ASAP right now. That concerns me that process, if it's true, did not happen.
I feel like we broke the news.
Because we just had a Pixelcraft representative who is also a big member of the DAO and a well-known and well-loved member. And I'm not accusing him of anything or anything like that, but it's like, this is bad. Like, we just, like, it doesn't look good. Like, we could talk publicly as much as we want to. I'll kind of let you guide the conversation here, but you know, director's doors. What I'm also not seeing is, I'm not watching Coder Dan like guide us. I'm not watching them direct us. I'm not watching him coach us and tell us. And I'm not saying that he should either. Like, this is ours. And so he is not sitting there saying, don't do that, guys. That's a really bad idea. You know, at the best, he gives us a very cheeky, I would advise that in a circumstance of this nature that y'all probably, or not even y'all, but an entity such as y'all may not be best advised to do things like this. You know, wink, wink. And so I'm watching a huge step back of administrative leadership from Pixelcraft. The DAO, I think, did this when we unrolled the curve and we reset the allocations. I think that at that point, the Pixelcraft attitude changed towards letting the DAO swim without floaties.
So it seems like the whole table was reset when this happened. We're playing a new game right now, and it's and we got to take responsibility. We are the DAO at this point. The people in this room, in my opinion, you know, I'm a strong advocate for the community and everything that we've built. I think what makes this place special and makes us want to keep showing up is that we do have a community of people here that we've built up, And so to me, that's valuable. But what can make it even more valuable is having a healthy treasury that we can actually deploy and just do really cool shit. Like, I think we have the capability of executing on like a Nouns DAO level, like very easily, with like a fraction of funds. And it's like, we're never going to get there with this current system, with the current people in place. So it's like, unless as a DAO, as a group, we can figure out what the problem is, get rid of that problem, and actually be able to move forward in a specific direction. Not even, I mean, these are my ideas, right? Not even maybe the direction I want to go, but the direction maybe someone else in this room might want to go.
I'll say as a director, I'm not scared about like quitting. I'm not concerned about any of that stuff. I'm possessive of this project. I like this community. I think that the IP is really good.
Yeah.
I think that the technical team is very talented, and I don't want to miss out on this thing's blossoming. And so for me, it makes me defensive to the point where I want to fight off those who are jeopardizing us. Like this is a rectification in my mind. This is an opportunity for us to identify and call out and acknowledge bad behavior and things that we don't want to see happen again.
Yeah, but my worry is that none of that's gonna happen. And like, I don't know, man. I don't like. Oh man.
I don't disagree with you fully at this point, because I was expecting a little bit more of a pitchfork type attitude last Sunday, and it just wasn't there. Like, there was actually people in there that didn't even want to talk about this issue at all. You know, they're just like, oh, why are we wasting time on this? Let's talk about gameplay. And it's like, you have zero perspective of how many moving pieces actually keep everything operating here. This stuff is important.
Yeah, it's going to be a matter of just, you know, Sunday will be important. It's going to be, you know, we'll have a conversation. It's hopefully everybody keeps it civil. I think it should be fine.
Yeah.
You know, only the people that need to speak will be on stage. It's not going to be community members voicing their, you know, wonk opinions. Do that shit in the chat. That's what I'm going to do.
Yep.
And, we'll source it out. The Ovex community, for what I've seen so far, I haven't been threatened. They know I'm a director. No one has come at me and said I was a piece of shit.
Yeah.
I stated my point of view. Maybe I am sympathetic with them, so they're not angry at me. But from what I've seen so far, other than today, there was one of them who's like kind of been jostling with people and called Bearded fat or something like that. And I thought that was, you know, it's like, why? Like, I mean, maybe it's Gotchi's fat, but like we're about that around here. I didn't understand the need to do that, but for the most part, they've been talking. Maybe it's the slow mode because they know they can't rage, but we'll have to see. My worry is Sunday. There's a lot of people in our Discord who are very defensive, and I respect it to some degree, but it's cultish behavior. Just like on Ovex's side, it's a spectrum. Not all holders are like this, you know, but it's a spectrum. So they're going to be on their side, they're cultish peeps, and then on our side, and it's going to be just, there's going to be pockets of people fighting and being like discourteous. I'm hoping that doesn't happen, but I can see it kind of, you know, if it devolves, it's going to devolve quickly, and it'll become Jerry Springer. It'll be great entertainment, but bad in general for us.
I'm actually, it's funny you mentioned that, because I was actually thinking about opening up a Battlegrounds channel here in GMI, so that way when we've surpassed the civility of the Aavegotchi DAO mods tolerance, we can forward the fight over here, and you can come over here and really let it rip.
Yeah, so I have a question real quick. So Ovex users are Polygon, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So why don't we redirect this whole thing? It's a marketing initiative.
Just send the funds to Polygon. Send it to their
No, not that. What I'm talking about is during the conversation, while we're actually talking and having this conversation with them, we should invite as many of their users, because they're already Polygon, to rent some gotchis for free and jump in the arena, and we could talk shit and duke it out in there.
Absolutely, that's a good idea. And well, and that's the end of the story, right? If we play this right, that's the end of the story, and it's not something that Aavegotchi DAO wants to be known for in terms of, hey, send us your fucking problems because we're such based community that will get it sorted for you. That's not the precedent to set here. But this doesn't have to be like a negative. This doesn't have to be us versus Ovex and we're fighting over one doll. It's we found their doll and we can return this and end the story well. And I think we're actually in the process of doing that. And it's the team leaderships of both of the projects involved, Gotchi Vault and Ovex. Those are actually the pieces that are fucking muddying everything up here. They're the ones that are making this really difficult to solve easily.
Yeah. We'll see. Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern. 2 p.m. UTC. Put it down on your calendar. It's happening.
Well, and we will say too, like, you know, at least I'll say, is the Ovex project in general is a unique circumstance because it's kind of a darling of Polygon. Hamza Khan is a big fan of it. It is one of the only Polygon projects that is already launched on the Polygon ZK EVM. And so it's really kind of like the tip of their DeFi spear at Polygon. So Deep's tweeted on it. They've all been super bullish on OVIX. Everybody at Polygon fucking loves OVIX. OVIX is the shit. They're the pioneers. And this has been a gigantic black eye on the Polygon DeFi movement. And so everybody wants to see the story end well. But the OVIX team right now, I think, is demonstrating their green gills. I think they're proving that they aren't actually this pedestal piece that they've been built up to be, quite honestly.
I mean, it's easy to look great when times are good, everything's working, and
we've all been there. Most of us have been there. We've all been. Most of us have been parts of projects that deploy unaudited, and test in production, and go, oh shit, that didn't work. We're wrecked. And it's like, well, that's what's happening here, y'all. This is it's amazing to watch discussions happening over there. I watched the OVIX, that's Papa Gogo over in their Discord server, D-Lock, other one. I watched Papa Go tell their community members, because this is in their Discord and there's people that are like, what was the process for that? We don't have a governance token, so they're like a snapshot. So like, how did this happen? And they do this weird community vote thing over there, where if you are an OVIX, like if you hold an OVIX position, you get one vote. So one position equals one vote. It's not about dollars in, it's about one position equals one vote. It's a weird, it's a pseudo-governance.
You can have like 500 wallets with 500 positions.
And savvy users know this, and rookies don't. And so it's a weird pseudo-governance anyway. And then he had the audacity, this is why I'm over there and paying attention, just because we need to know what the story that's being told is they had 26 community members or accounts cast a vote to allow Vghost into the protocol listing. They've got thousands of users or what the hell ever, millions of dollars of DeFi. They had 26 engaged voters in the listing of Vghost. And then he had the audacity to actually tell his own community that 26 is a pretty good turnout for governance, guys. Like sometimes the Aavegotchi DAO thing doesn't even do that much, so just be aware that we actually are doing really good in terms of distribution of governance.
Wait, who is this? Is this the Vault saying that, or
this
the OVIX?
No, this is the OVIX founder. This is the OVIX founder telling his own community that 26 is a pretty good turnout for governance. Calm down, guys.
No, and if he thinks that, I mean, I don't know if Sunday's going to go that well for him, because
I don't think it is. I don't think it really is. I think that they're going to come in there and it'd be kind of in deep water. I don't think that they're used to operating like this. And, I think that they have a little bit of a Sado type vibe. They don't really have proper DAO at all. And it's just not well documented, the who and the what and the when. There are smart users in that community that are asking the right questions in terms of specifics, and they're not being answered. They're being evaded. I'm watching these answers that could be provided that would settle those intelligent users who have been through stuff like this before. That information's not being provided. Like a simple one that they were asking is just what law enforcement has been contacted. I'm not asking for a case number. I'm not asking for anything. Just tell us, is it the fucking FBI of Switzerland? Is it the United States DEA? Who did you contact? That's all we want to know. Well, we can't talk about that, and we're not comfortable releasing any of that information. It's an ongoing investigation. If you want to be involved directly, just DM me privately, and we'll settle this offline.
Well, the answer is nobody, because according to what you said earlier, anything they do in terms of reporting officially is going to put themselves in hot water, not anybody else. So that's not an option.
They don't want to,
This is like saying that your gun got stolen. It's like, why? And it's like, because my gun safe wasn't locked and someone came and took it. It's like, well, you might have just also implicated yourself here in this circumstance.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just not good. It's not a good.
It's not good for them. Honestly, it's really not that bad for us as a DAO. Like the only bad part is that we've got a shitty neighbor who's willing to throw a sack of shit over the fence. That's really our problem here.
Yeah, it's more like dealing with an annoying neighbor. But for them, they are really whatever they
they got problems.
They got real problems. Like, I'm not saying we don't have real problems. We do have real problems. We just talked about them. But I don't know. They got jail problems. They got jail problems.
Well, and at least we have actual governance models. Like, we have governance mechanics that can try to discuss and remedy problems. Sometimes we solve problems realistically. Sometimes we do good governance here. Sometimes we screw up, but at least the rails are in place.
Yeah.
And the rails to adjust those rails are in place. These other community projects don't even know that they need this yet.
Yeah, but are they really that different from us? Because we have a large voting block. The whole reason we're in this situation is because we're not sufficiently decentralized. That's what I feel is the most clear thing here. Because it's a big issue.
It's reasonable.
Not to vote. If we don't have enough people willing to vote, and the vault decides not to vote, even when we decide to send the money back, the money will be stuck because they have enough. Like, we've watched when they haven't participated and quorum's not met, it is an issue. Like, we would have to like basically rally everybody. We couldn't do that to move the ghost over from what's it called, Aragon, to end the bottom. We literally had to have the foundation vote in it to bring us close to quorum before we relied on smaller voters.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Well. And I think that maybe you're touching on something I was talking to Hefe about last night, and it's unique, and I don't know, the specifics of it. It's very raw in my mind too. If the Gotchi Vault starts blatantly voting against our actions, that's one thing, because at least their vote will be on the scale, and quorum won't be the concern. It'll be the active opposition of what the DAO's trying to do versus what the Vault wants us to do. But if the Vault went cold, and just stopped participating, but still be assigned all this VP and we can't make quorum, there may be a solution. It's just unique, and it's not something that we see really ever done anywhere. Because we did do that with Aragon. We asked our own project funds to vote and contribute so that way we could make quorum. And so what would it look like if there was such a feature as like quorum meeting? If there was a feature such as quorum support, quorum supplement, where you could activate foundation funds and come in and not adjust the weight of the vote as is in terms of a 90%, 10%. Okay, then match it. You match whatever it is that you're entering in. It's weighted on until the last couple of moments before a vote closes. You match it as the makeup currently sits, but you just provide additional weight to make quorum.
I would vote against that, because it just creates it just creates an issue. The quorum requirement is there because you need active voter participation. If something doesn't get enough support to pass quorum, that means it wasn't that important to the community, even if apathy is a thing. So what you basically be doing is giving a green light for every SIG prop that doesn't get shot down to make it to a core prop. And then if you do the same thing on the core prop, it's just going to amplify and speed up the number of, I think, proposals that are thrown out, and a lot of them will be garbage or stuff that's mildly supported, but not necessarily, there are votes we've seen that have a widespread, but that can't meet quorum. And even if they might have been good ideas, it is what it is. I wouldn't tweak that at all. Plus, then it leaves us to looking, even if we did match the weighting of the vote, it just feels like the foundation is putting the fingers on the scale. And for that even to go through, I think we need to have a DAO vote.
No, it wouldn't be us. It would be the DAO activating this too, though. And I hear your concerns too, and I think there's some discussion to have about it.
But we would need the Gotchi Vault to vote on that to enable us to disable them.
So then, and I hear you. So this is my creative solution. This is my creative solution on how to sidestep the Vault's need. If that isn't on the table, then there's only one other real choice, which is activating the community to migrating away and decentralizing the Gotchi Vault voting block. That is our only other alternative.
But how do you do that?
We're gonna have to get you comfortable with kicking them in the balls and explaining to everybody why Orium has got a better product.
No, but what I'm saying is, a lot of players in this game are super inactive. There are a lot of people who own assets that haven't checked in almost 2 years. I see it all the time. They come and they're like, hey, I have a whole bag of shit. I have no idea what's happening. I have a client now. I have 27 of his gotchis. He's a World Series of Poker player. He does not check in all that much. He has a full farm set up. He doesn't know that his like survey's already run out for FOMO, so it's like it's not collecting any money. So he'll hit me up in a couple weeks to ask, hey, why is my FOMO so low? And I'm like, oh yeah, you ran out. We don't know when the next one is. There's so many players who are just not, they're AFK. If this was like, one of the ideas that Flame has, where we have a messaging system where we could send them a message saying, hey, this is what's happening, then maybe we'd have a chance. At this point, I feel like there's so many players that are not, how do we contact them? They're not paying attention, even when we're pinging them in Discord or watching Twitter, people, a lot of people are like that in our ecosystem. So
if that's the case, well, if that's, go ahead.
At all on social media. Think about that. This
Absolutely.
stream yeah, so there's no like visibility to this to the outside community. I guarantee you, if I put up a post talking about this, as all the people that know Aavegotchi out there will see it, not all, but a lot more, it would be amplified, and then
Absolutely.
people would be aware.
Which makes me feel comfortable. I think comfortable. I think comfortable is the right word. I think I feel comfortable that we could indeed make that happen. And we could do something unique where maybe it's not a 1 week vote. Maybe we put out a 1 month long vote and give people more opportunity for awareness to occur and participation to happen. Pool Together has their constitution up for ratification right now in Snapshot, and it's a 1 year long voting window to give everybody in the community an opportunity to be made aware of what's going on.
Yeah, see, I just wonder if it will be effective, because the other thing is
you're doing really good at playing the devil's advocate. I'd love to hear what your solution strategy is.
This is why I don't really have one. That's why I step back in ways we could try to campaign, but we'd basically be starting a PR war on social media.
Yeah, we would.
Brand. So it's like, I know I have that trigger. I could pull that arrow out of my quiver, but I don't think I win if I do that. There's nothing, other than being someone who fought for the right thing, which I've done so many fucking times in my life and gotten nothing out of. It's like, it doesn't seem like, maybe I'm too apathetic. I'm like, we're fucked. Okay, I accept it.
Well, this might be the balance between my naive, optimistic, idealistic goals and your apathetic, apprehensive, sus goals.
Yeah, because I can go out there and do all this stuff, but what is it going to really accomplish? That's my worry. And it's like, is the negativity that I'm going to endure from being attacked by people making this political, is that worth it? For what? For something that doesn't really give a shit about me anyway? Why would I get into a big old fight for something that I feel like doesn't value me? It doesn't make any sense.
Now, I understand in terms of, especially with y'all in the media team. And again, we're kind of dominating the mics. So by all means, it's an open room. There's so many smart people in here too. And I know that you guys have your own feelings about how the DAO has valued y'all and treated y'all here lately. But I think everybody in this room appreciates the hell out of you and your contributions to this ecosystem. Oh, yeah. And I think that between, those of us that typically are on stage or participate in DAO calls or show up to those community calls or have these good public profiles, we've talked about this quite a few times. Our social capital has quite a valuation on it. That we are not just nobodies and we don't matter here. No one cares what we say. That's just simply not true. And I think that if there was a comprehensive agreement of many of the personalities in our space to have a certain campaign in mind, I really think it would be effective.
My worry is that, because for our social capital to matter, you have to have a strong community. We have actually watched the launch of the community killing initiatives. That's what I think of them. So it's we're in a battle where I feel like it's already lost. I think, I'm not completely pessimistic about everything, but for me, it's if I'm using my spidey sense, it's like, damn, man, I've been in situations before.
Find a clever way to figure out how to use Thrive Coin to be the Gotchi Vault's undoing. I don't know what that means yet.
Thrive. I already told Sanad, because he asked me he wants to nominate me. First, he wanted to have a call with me to talk about it, and I told him, no, I'm not interested. And then he wanted to nominate me, and I just ignored the message, and then I wasn't. I don't want to do it. It's not worth it to me. Mm-hmm. It really isn't worth it to me anymore. I like making content. I like doing it, but I don't want to do it for the DAO. I just don't want to do it for the DAO. I'm only recording even these meetings just because, a proper record is the most important thing, and having redundancy is necessary for that.
Well, I'm even thinking about it less about you specifically utilizing it, because I am not avoiding Thrive and I'll be very involved in it. And so, is there a incentive mechanism that would more authentically activate like self-governance or self-VP custody.
Take your Gotchi out of the Gotchi vault. You get 5
Exactly. Exactly. Like, it can't be that blatantly targeted, but what does that look like? How do we use Thrive and social activation to undo the AFK players?
An Infinity Keys quest where you have to remove your assets. You get a badge at the end of it.
I mean, it might sound goofy, but like, think about what something like that would really look like if you had all of our different angles, all these different things, these levers that we have to pull. And if all of them were like, you know what we're doing at Aavegotchi is we're waking up our fucking DAO. We're sick of all the AFK. We're sick of not making quorum. We're sick of all this lack of awareness. And so we're working with all of our partner projects here, like Infinity Keys and GMI and the agenda of the arena and ThriveCoin and all of these levers that we have. And we're pushing all of them throttle forward on taking over your fucking VP and getting involved in the governance, because we've had this whole circumstance go down, and now our DAO is actually in a literally vulnerable circumstance of being able to lose one of our most glorious titles, which is that we've always been an active and effective DAO, and like, we're at risk to lose that gem, and that should be worth fighting for, in my mind, as a DAO member.
It's worth fighting for, but what we're descending into is something I actively avoid in my life. I don't watch the news or regular television that often anymore because I don't want political shit. Like, I'm tired of hearing people like posturing for one side or the other. I'm a moderate. I just want to sit down and fucking live my life, We're about to, even doing this, it's a very, it's a divisive thing. We're going to be launching into a war. And it's like, oh man, I want to touch grass, man.
Yeah,
I want to go trade.
I feel you there.
Just chill the fuck out with weed, and we can plan out how to take this bag we have, build a game that's fun. I don't want to do all this extra shit. I actively avoid that in my real life. Like, so it's like, it's not worth it. Like, it's not worth it to start the fight. I want to get a feeling of how the DAO really is, and I think I'll see that on Sunday. This is the biggest for our DAO, to tell me what kind of character we have, because I think I know what it is, and I'm hoping I'm wrong, but I'll definitely find out on Sunday, I think.
I hear you. I just also have to remind friends that you can't complain about traffic. You are traffic, right? And so, like, if we're seeing that DAO behavior that we don't love, then like, what can we do to change it? Like, we're not victims here, and we're not just subjects of other people's will. Like, we can talk about these things. We can discuss these things. We can actively declare our opposition to these things. Like, all of this is still on the table, and none of it has been done yet. And so we simply can't assume that it won't work, and or that the effort is going to be greater than the result.
I think social capital, like the power of social capital in this space specifically, and reputations in this space specifically, go a long way compared to traditional. I totally agree with NoFuturistic. Like, I'm very much non-political when it comes to the traditional world, even like work life, and when I was working like Web 2 traditional work environments, you just try and avoid it, and I totally get it. I totally get the moderate approach to life, and I have a respect and appreciation for it. But I think what I see here is an opportunity to actually have a major impact developing a governance system that actually makes sense. Because realistically, what I saw when I saw Aavegotchi DAO when I first joined was, hey, all of our governance systems in society are fucked up. I think DAOs could be a huge benefit to society. But I also realized DAOs are super complicated even back then, and I didn't really think it was going to work. It was like a social experiment. And I'm just not at the point yet where I'm like, DAOs are not going to work. I think we have the perfect use case for a DAO. I think building a game with it, side by side with a DAO is the perfect use case. But I think we let the wrong people in early, and those people have established themselves, and just honestly like a parasite. And it's like, how do you remove a parasite? Well, there's always procedures to removing parasites. But we've never done that before. We're young, fairly young, immature DAO. So like, we got this parasite. We got to somehow get it off in order to continue to thrive, basically.
Yeah, this is a iterative process. So we're going to learn a lot on Sunday.
And no one party is expected to be able to carry the banner the whole way. That's the beauty of this group that's in here right now, and the wider the wider coalition of us friendly friends that do seem to support each other and tend to support what we think are these reasonable proposals and participate in the community and be present. Like there's quite a few of us, and so by all means, and I will acknowledge that you have fought this fight for a while now, so there is a little bit of attrition of war already on your docket. But like I'm feeling extremely activated in this moment. I haven't felt like I've needed to defend the DAO from an external enemy at any point prior to this, and currently I do. It's got me fired up personally, and I'm watching people like Light Piglet be like, "Give it to me. I'll go hit him. Give me a stick. Give me a stick. I'll do it." He doesn't care. Like there are those of us that are ready to do this battle, and so we don't need you to feel like you have to do it all. It's just, do you think it should be done?
I just don't know the worth of it, like, because it's like yelling into an empty room.
Well,
like,
I think the worth of it, the worth of it could change society, could change the way. The worth of it, is something we can't even conceive. I don't even know what the worth of it is, but it's definitely more than what's out there. Anything else out there worth doing, in my opinion.
I'm into that.
I just think it's opportunity cost, right? I could fight with these people, or I can go touch grass and be in like a level-headed relationship and be happy. Like, what's worth it? Should I be in this state?
Hey man, where's Aperon? Where's Aperon tonight?
Yeah, I've been doing this shit for a year now. Like, where I've been there, like, we're lucky. Our community truly is a friendly community. I've seen other communities that get toxic, but I still dealt with a small, tiny level of toxicity when people were making fun of me because I'm saying I'm spending my alchemica that I rightfully earned on buying sandwiches. I had a tuna sandwich and people were coming at me for that. I can take that heat, but it's like, why even deal with that shit? Like, there's no need for that. Like, I'm not really gonna gain anything I guess it's just me getting older and getting this perspective of like, sometimes I like to fight. I love to fight. If I feel like I'm right and I see an injustice, I like to jump up and yell from the fucking roof about it. But there's a point where you have to realize where it's like the effort, just like, I could be doing something better with my time, something that is more productive than just this fucking obsession with.
If you're not in this digital war with us because you're living your best life, that is a good choice. Like my Gotchi brother is gone. He's got a wonderful fiance, and they just moved into a house, and they got and shit, and he ain't worried about none of this garbage. And I don't get the luxury of talking to him about all this stuff that we're going through here. I got to talk to Light Piglet to have someone understand me.
Well,
and
also
so you're completely correct.
Mental health, man. Everyone should value their mental health first. I think it's easy to forget in this space. I like what Light Piglet's saying here too. I think the vault might just implode from their own weight, which would be
there's quite a few of us in here that still have that ability to at the very least capture that perspective, if not kind of prompt it.
That's why I'm also not quick to judgment about the numbers on the vault right now, because we'll find, if some catastrophe happens Sunday, we find out some bombshell or something, or they, people, it just doesn't go the way, a positive way.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems bad and people still don't change their mind, then that's bad. But you have to give them the benefit of the doubt, at least, to let's all hear everything. Let's get the full picture that we can get, at least at this level, the 10,000 foot view from the other side as well. And then, kind of go from there. I would love to see like somebody from the vault talk on their perspective, because we've seen, writing, but not actual conversation.
No one wants to.
Yeah. And I understand that it's a legal issue, but it's a legal issue for all of us now. So let's fucking, this bag of shit's on fire. Somebody got to step on it, but let's at least
I mean, I'm okay. I got shit on a lot of my boots for sure. I'm not above using on-chain messaging to message VLT wallets. I'm not above opening comments in the Gotchi vault as a VLT holder currently still. And being chased out of there with the pitchfork. I'm not opposed to prompting all these circumstances. I think this is something that, as a community project, like we cannot just let this just sit. This can't just pass. We have to talk about a resolution or a recourse based on the actions that occurred to us. Otherwise, it will happen again, and it may not even be the Gotchi ball. We have to learn from this experience.
Yeah, I agree.
Man,
tune in. You on Sunday.
Dope, man. I like it. No Syncopator tonight, gentlemen and ladies. No GMI Syncopator tonight. We've had a decent week, and there's not a lot of major updates in terms of Syncopator news. GMI ain't got too much really happening. I'm reaching out to a shitload of artists on Fake Fest. We've got a website up now, and just doing some more fun stuff in that regard. So it's getting real there. My call to action on everyone is just find an artist that you like and reach out to them. Let them know that we're doing something on June 3rd, and they're welcome.
I started working on my fake for Fake Fest, so I'm definitely going to be publishing a fake for that.
I want to see a fake from all y'all. I want to hear this No Future track. It's been too long, brother.
Can't write. I don't know. Like, if it has
Just
to be
mime that shit, dude. Rap and Gotchi talk. I don't give a damn.
I gotta show you some
like,
AI stuff, dude. It'll open up your. It'll get you, help you get through that block. I know it. There's gonna be some good stuff out there.
Yeah, I just got to do it. I've been busy. I've been trying to be a good partnership lead, trying to figure out. There's so many companies putting out games right now, but like it's like 3% of them actually have anything that's like you can look at. So it's like, you know, you got to send out. You're doing a lot of outreach, and I'm trying to be really good at it because we're so early in this. It's gonna be.
You should be focused on that though. That's
to be an expert in this is like. It makes sense.
Hey, y'all didn't all follow me to Nori shit when I was doing the Nori stuff, but when I was doing the Nori stuff, I was doing the Nori stuff. When you're on payroll, make sure you respect them and honor them and do the best absolute work you can for who's putting food on your table. This right here is a volunteer army.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're still here. We're still doing our thing. It's just it'll be good. Like, music in general, I've just like last night actually. I know we're running a little long here, but last night I came home very drunk at 3 in the morning with my girlfriend. We went to a bar. We kind of had a date night. We went to our place of work, which is an arcade. We had a fucking blast there. Went to the last bar, got drunk with our friends, came home, and then we came into my room. She's always been interested in guitar, and I just was jamming out, playing some metal shit because she's into metal on my electric. And it was just such a blast, and I was like, yeah, I got to do more of this. I haven't done it in a while.
It can be liberating, man. Love the instruments.
Yeah.
Artcore, Botanica distribution. I'd love to hear more about it. Unfortunately, we're near the end of our meeting here, but we would have done it. We would have done it on the Syncopator tonight. Unfortunately, we won't be doing that. But oh yeah, GM with GMI. Yeah, that's a. If the time zone works, of course.
Yeah, I think he's on the other side of the earth. I think it'd be. I mean, hey, maybe he's hardcore. Maybe he's up at 2 a.m.
UTC +7. So what's that?
You're almost about as far away from us as possible. I think I'm -6, and so we're like literally on the opposite sides of the planet.
Well, why don't you hang on to it for next Friday's Syncopator, and we'll make sure we give you ample space because I know.
Honestly, let me actually sorry to just hop in there, Hefe, but something that's really helpful sometimes, Artcore. It doesn't get done enough. Most people don't do it. I don't know why. But it was really a useful tool at my last place. And so, have you ever considered making a Loom or similar? And so, Loom is like a video recording service where it's like a Marco Polo, right? It's like you're making a video recording with yourself for other people to watch it async. And so, you could have already sat down on your computer with your camera, screen shared your long form type out, and talk us through it. We are living in a digital era, and there's no reason that you should be trying to occur a synchronous presentation. Don't limit yourself that way, because you probably could have already got us this information a week or two ago, because you've already had it in your head and you're just looking for your opportunity to get it to us. And so you find an async way of getting us onto this intel. Even if it's a topic forum here in the GMI server, you're more than welcome to open one up, and we can dump things there. You've already got your Botanica thread in the Aavegotchi main server, and you've got a lot of meat in there. So maybe are you really mostly looking for us to look at it and process it and get feedback, or do you have new information that you need to present? But my recommendation to you would be finding a comfortable async solution, so that way we can keep up with you on our own timelines, quite honestly.
Yeah, well said. Always welcome here in the forums. You can open up your own thread. I'd love to follow it, see what's been developing, and of course, feedback and brainstorm as well. So I know we've gone a bit over here, but I will leave it to the room here. Are there any parting words before we go here for a Friday night?
I am super thankful for Blockparty. Y'all's consistency is bar none, and it's always a welcome opportunity to have this space as a community.
Well, I mean, I'm feeling comfy enough to make this a Spotify podcast at some point. Official Blockparty. We got the artwork now, so we can actually kick it off and do our Blockparty Spotify.
I just want to tell you about my commitment because me and my girlfriend had a whole date today. We came back and, we were feeling freaky naughty, and it was like 10 minutes before, and I'm like, we don't have enough time. And she's like, just tell him we'll be a little late. I can't. Like, it's 10 minutes, hell no. Like, so I put that off. I'm here until Sunday now. So, I mean, I might go see.
Dang,
yeah,
dude.
but it was like, I got to come to the party, right?
I respect
Delayed
that.
keckification is the best, man.
Absolutely.
Oh, guys, give some love to Musashi, this post that he has. MSG gang.
Oh, man. Those guys are great.
OGs. Give that one.
Legion does not forget.
Oh, also, before I go real quick, I just found Farmer Al making content on YouTube. I did retweet it, but he gives health tips. Like, he has a whole holistic health channel. I'm gonna make sure I plug that.
Actually, let's do that. So plug that, and then let's do some dubbing where turn his health videos back into gachi videos.
Do a reverse. Yeah, I like it. All right. I think that's a wrap, folks. I think that is a wrap for the Blockparty Friday night. I hope y'all had a good night.
That's it for GMI Friday Night Lights. It's done. No Syncopator. That's it. Y'all are free.
Yeah, absolutely. Enjoy your night, and we'll catch you tomorrow for the hangout.
Oh, let me drop
hangout.
the Fake Fest. Let me drop the Fake
Please
Fest link here too. It's on the it's on an announcement. It's on the front announcement there as well, but I dropped this right here. This is super basic, just a landing page, but that way at least you've got something that you can put in front of people. So if people, you got an artist in front of you, and you're like, bro, you should come to Fake Fest June 3rd. It's gonna be awesome. And they'll be like, what the hell's Fake Fest? Just drop them this. Just give them this. Yeah, exactly. Digital party. You're gonna fucking love it. Don't miss
this is
it.
awesome. This is amazing.
Give them this link and move on. The only thing I want to do is I want to make a type form or something better for the RSVP. Right now, the RSVP is just a direct email to GMI Frens.
Yeah.
Ridiculously lame. So we gotta do something better for the RSVP there. But
I got a tally.
I think that it's suitable.
We can mess with the tally.
I need a good tally, and we'll get that done. Yeah. And I'm gonna start building spreadsheets and docs tonight to start creating the array of prospect artists, contacted artists, and confirmed artists, as the runway is disappearing really fast.
Yeah, I think I'll make a little short YouTube short out there too, just talking about Fake Fest, get that out there, spread some awareness around it. So
I want to it's gonna be so much better than the last artist summit, and the last one was good. So this is gonna be a freaking blast, and I want to empower all y'all as much as possible. It is a singular goal for me right now.
We also got to catch up with our friend Adelaide, and let's talk about this virtual gallery 3D.
Adelar. And we also have a call to schedule with Inverse Worlds early next week as well, to see what they can do. I want to see which one of them can give us a ghost ship, small mini catamaran that a couple of gachis can fit on and go out onto a lake and do some fishing.
Are you feeling that June 3rd is a good date to target, or are you feeling like it's worth it to push it just like maybe another week or something, give it extra time?
I honestly think it's okay. It still gives us 1, 2, 3 whole Saturdays away. Yeah. So we're it's 3 Saturday hangouts and then the actual event. So we're literally 4 weeks away. We have a month, which is relatively short, but I think if it's longer than that, then it's almost non-tangible. Like you're asking people to get their shit together for something that's 2 months away, they forget. Yeah. And so I think it's just the right runway for artists to be able to make something useful, but not so not so far away that they're gonna forget why they even made it.
Yeah, well, that makes sense.
Cool. Okay, I'll shut up.
All right, friends, I think that's a wrap. This is Blockparty. Thank you all for joining us tonight, and we'll catch you tomorrow morning. If not, have a good weekend. Peace out.